Welcome to your second day of school. It is August 11th. It is Tuesday. So here we are again. And remember, you must look for what are you looking for? You tell me. The minion, right? So in order to get started for the day, you want to go ahead and click on the minion, and that minion will take you to your Getting Started activity. Today, your Getting Started activity is a Google form. I would like you to complete this Google form. It's called Today and if you complete this, it kind of just lets me know how you're feeling today. All right, so that's your Getting Started activity. Just take you a couple of minutes, not difficult at all. And then we're going to go here to welcome, and we're going to go to the slideshow for the day. All right, so again, today is August 11th. It is your second day of school. It is Tuesday. Here we are back again, ready to fly. So let's go through the slideshow. And remember, if you have questions after viewing the slideshow or viewing the video, please reach out to me and I can help you. All right, so again, we did our little getting started activity. We clicked on Dave. We found him on the virtual classroom. You did your Today and you're ready to move on to the next thing, which is our learning goal. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the learning goal. Move myself up here. And today we're really going to be talking about identity. So yesterday you guys completed your identity brainstorming activity when you think about, how do people view me and how do I view myself, right? How would I describe myself? How do others describe me? And so today you will examine the sometimes conflicting factors that make up identity, right? Sometimes it is conflicting, like the different parts of us that come together to make up who we are. So we're going to examine the sometimes conflicting factors that make up identity and describe ways that you can participate in creating a welcoming classroom community for all using complete sentences and academic language. So we're going to talk about what you need for this classroom to be a positive community. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on here. So I want you to, you would respond in the chat if you were present, but since you're not here, or maybe you already did come to the Google Meet, but this is just something we were going to talk about. So here's my name, right? Hello, my name is Miss Lominario, as you know. My pronouns are she, her. So let's think about some of these things that I wanted you to talk about in the chat today. So how do our names relate to our identity? So I want you to think about who you are as a person based upon your name. So I could talk about my name, Lominario, right, my last name. That identifies me as the wife of a Lominario because I am married to a Lominario. That is not my maiden name. And so that kind of changed who I was a little bit, right? Because it is connected to my identity. What is important to know about each other in order to learn together this year? So when you're thinking about your classmates, what is it you need to know about each of them in order to be more productive together this year? You won't get to be with them in the classroom for a while, if ever. I'm not even sure. I mean, if ever this semester, right? Because we're together this one semester and then you'll move on to a different class second semester. So if we are together, that'll be great. And you'll get to work together with people in groups. But since we're doing a virtual setting, what do we need to know, right, to move on together? All right, let's continue. And I want you to start with your virtual journal. And if you go to Google Classroom, you're going to find a document and it's just titled Virtual Journal. And basically on this journal, you will keep a running reflection to questions that I ask you, and you'll just type that in, and next time I ask you to have your virtual journal, you will pull that up yourself and it won't be posted on Google Classroom. So basically you would have 5 minutes to complete a writing assignment in your virtual journal. Basically choose one or more of these sentence starters to begin a reflection in your journal. So choose either one of them or two of them or three of them or four of them, but you're going to write for the full 5 minutes. So I was given my name because I like or I dislike my name because my name is or isn't, choose one, a good fit for my personality. Excuse me, I'm not sure what's going on here. Because people assume blank about me. What people assume about you because of your name? Okay. So you would have 5 minutes to complete that. Okay, the next activity that you would do today is read and use Cami. Cami is an app down here that we're going to talk about to annotate Orientation Day. And this is an article. Go ahead and open Cami. You're going to go ahead and whoops, this is what mine looks like. Yours will look a little bit different than mine. I'm on a trial, so we're going to see how it goes. If we like it, we'll keep using it. So we're going to open Orientation Day, and we're going to read this, and then we're going to talk about it. All right. So in this essay, 17-year-old Jennifer Wang, not Wei, Wang, who came to the United States from Beijing, China when she was 7, reflects on a time when she had to introduce herself to a group of strangers at a new school. As you read, I want you to underline the words and phrases that Wang uses to describe her identity. So that's the purpose of Cami, because on Cami, you're able to underline and highlight. It's a annotation tool. All right, so with Cami, this will be opened in Cami, and I'll read it to you, and as I'm reading, I want you to highlight things or underline words or phrases that describe her identity. Something about myself. How do I summarize in 30 seconds everything which adds up and equals a neat little bundle called me? Who am I, and why do I matter to any of you? First of all, I'm a girl who wandered the aisles of Toys R Us for 2 hours, hunting in vain for a doll with a yellowish skin tone. I am a girl who sat on the cold bathroom floor at 7 in the morning, cutting out the eyes of Caucasian models in magazines, trying to fit them on my face. While I was growing up, I did not understand what it meant to be Chinese or American. Do these terms link only to citizenship? Do they suggest that people fit the profile of either typical Chinese or typical Americans? And who or what determines when a person starts feeling American and stops feeling Chinese? Down here. I eventually shunned the Asian crowds, and I hated Chinatown. I hated the noise, the crush of bodies, the yells of mothers to fathers to children to uncles to aunts to cousins. I hated not understanding their language in depth, the language of my ancestors, which was also supposed to be mine to mold and master. I am still not a citizen of the United States, this great nation, which is hailed as the destination for generations of people, the promised land for millions. I stare blankly at my friends when they mention the 1980s or share stories of their parents as hippies, and I hate baseball. The question lingers, am I Chinese? Am I American? Or am I some unholy mixture of both, doomed to stay torn between the two? I don't know if I'll ever find the answers. Meanwhile, it's my turn to introduce myself. I stand up and say, my name is Jennifer Wang, and then I sit back down. There are no other words that define me as well as those. No others show me being stretched between two very different cultures and places, the Jennifer clashing with the Wang fighting with the Jennifer. Alright, so I want you to make sure you have taken some time to underline and highlight words and phrases that Miss Wang uses to describe her identity in this essay that she has written. Let's go and talk about it a little bit, right? Again, just the explanation of what you're doing. I'm going to call on some of the students to share, so I want you just to consider these questions, think about them. So what would Jennifer Wang's teacher have done to make her feel more welcome in class? What could she have done? Basically, she asks her to stand up and introduce herself. And it's the first time she's in this classroom, and there's a bunch of people around her that she doesn't know. Do you think that's the best way for her to feel comfortable in the class? So what could she have done? Right? So think about those things. What could the other students have done to make Wang feel like she belonged? So think of yourself like when you're new to a school or new to a class. You know, what do you wish the other students would have done to make you feel more comfortable? So thinking about Jennifer Wang and how she didn't feel like she belonged to the Chinese culture or the American culture. She felt she was torn and stuck in the middle. So how could she feel more like she belongs? What could students do for her? What is important to know about each other in order to learn together this year? So that was a question I kind of phrased earlier, but I want you to think about it again now that we have this other story to consider. Okay, so I want you now, you'll go back to your virtual journal and you're just going to continue typing from where you left off. And we have some questions. So number one, who am I? And I want you to think about that brainstorming chart that you did on the Canva app yesterday. What words or labels would you use to describe yourself? So go ahead and write about that. What were some of the things you put on that brainstorming? How might others, family, friends, teachers, mentors, or strangers, describe you? So again, thinking about that brainstorming that you did, I want you to now put this in sentence form and tell me, how would they describe you? So you have 5 minutes to do this. I'm going to go ahead and move through. You can pause it though while you do your journal for 5 minutes. All right, so this is pretty much, we're getting to the end of our lesson for today. Oh, look at me, it looks like I'm wearing a crown. I want you to complete the Google form, and it's called Don't Misunderstand Me. And sometimes, you know, people form opinions about us before they get to know us. And so maybe there's opinions being formed about other people and classmates or teachers or whomever. And it's important not to be misunderstood. So you'll click on that link and then quickly just fill out this first name, last name, a misunderstanding that a teacher might have, and then what is your real reality? All right, so do not forget the Getting to Know You slideshow is due next class, August 12th. And it is something you will be presenting to the class, so be ready. So I'm going to go ahead and let you off this lesson so you'll have the rest of the class time to finish up your Getting to Know You slideshow. Again, that is due tomorrow, and you will be presenting to the class. So before you present, be sure that you have practiced your presentation and that you're prepared to present it. All right, let me know if you have any questions.